brothers and sisters, to a new day of pro wrestling. On Smackdown Live, we have gotten a surprise that has given us a day that we will never forget. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. I had to do it at least once. If I offended somebody, I'm sorry. And you guys know I found Native American culture, but I did grow up in that type of family culture like that. So it's not something I wasn't totally unfamiliar with. But anyway, if you thought I did a pretty good job, say something. But when you look at this Smackdown Live, 3 weeks away from Money in the Bank, we got an injection in our arm that we desperately needed. The way things were packaged on Raw, it just turned me off. I'm sorry. I got turned off about some of the stuff that was going on Raw. Look, first thing I want to talk about, what did I say in my Raw review mini about Sasha Banks eventually going to 205 Live? Look at it, it's at my shoulder. I told you that if it wasn't going to happen eventually, she was going to go there. Sasha Banks was here. She was headlining pay-per-view. She was headlining Raws. And now she's dropped down to 205 Live working with Rick Swann, working with Alicia Fox and Olin Dar. If I'm pronouncing Olin Dar's name wrong, I keep saying I'm sorry. I don't watch SmackDown Live and then watch 205 Live. That's too much for me to be doing. Because I want to look at Talking Smack. After I do this, usually I have to catch it on a recording afterhand. But you get my point. It's too much to watch. 3.5 hours. I don't care if they're parallel or one after the other. It's 3.5 hours on Tuesday. That's too much. So, if I mispronounce the guy's name, I'm sorry. Put it on a Thursday and I'll try to watch it. But anyway, you see what happened to Sasha. That just pissed me off. But when we saw the rest of the show, it was actually quite fun. This was a fun, surprising show. First thing I'm going to get over with is the Colognes versus the Fashion Popo. We got a segment with the Popo beforehand of seeing a little bit of Fandango by himself, looking a little bit like, what was the guy's name? Jack Spade a little bit. A little bit of Jack Spade. A little bit of black and white intrigue, which I found to be quite refreshing. Seeing it in black and white wasn't bad. I actually grew up on black and white TV, so it's kind of nice to see that. Yes, I know. What? What are you talking about black and white? You don't look that old. My mother was old and she had a black and white TV, and I watched TV on a black and white TV. I know what black and white looks like. So when you look at this, seeing that they tried to do a little bit of funniness when it came to Tyler Breeze, making him look like he has the shape of a Lana. Who doesn't want to see Lana's shape? But then you see him in a dress again. And this is a problem I have with Tyler Breeze. I understand he's the master of disguise. You see during the match, he got dressed in the janitor's outfit again against the Colognes. They actually did a lot of interesting things that was funny. I mean, they shot some water guns at the guys. When was the last time you saw water guns shot at other wrestlers? You don't. So it was different. But my critique of Tyler Beauty, well, you could say Tyler Beauty, because he dresses more as a girl than he does in other disguises. Come on. Look, let him dress as a janitor. Let him dress as a bellhop. Let him dress as a cook. Let him dress as a cop. Let him dress as a crossing light guard. Let him dress anything else as well as a girl. If he's only doing 2 outfits and the majority one is a girl, it kind of is a little turn off for me personally. Because if he's a master of disguise, I want to see him do more than just 2. They won their match, but I wonder where they're going to go with them. Because when it comes down to it, they need to be in the main title scene. But now, because of what's happened, later in the night, it makes it more complicated. Now, Randy Orton and his segment with Jinder Mahal. Short and sweet with Randy Orton. Usually he does a long one. This was kind of a surprise for me to see how short this was. I think it was not even 2 minutes long. Maybe at least 2 minutes, barely. 2.5. It was surprising that he went that short. Talked about his dad, talked about his grandfather, which he doesn't usually talk about his grandfather much. I think he really does love his grandfather a lot. That he's died, he gets a little upset about it and choked up. Or he just boxed his ass off and he doesn't really care. But I think he might actually care about his grandfather. Anyway, when it came to Jinder Mahal, he tried to give off an attitude that was actually going with him talking. He doesn't want to hear what Jinder Mahal is talking about. He doesn't want to hear that Americans feel entitled, that Americans are jackasses. They're trying to grab the bygone era of their past history. Jinder Mahal is the classic anti-American. We haven't had a real anti-American that has been from the Middle East or from India in a very long time that actually has been sponsored properly. So at least I will say with Jinder, I'm glad to see that they're giving him this time. He didn't come out to the ring. He didn't come out from the Titantron. He did it on the Titantron, which I found to be something very good. I'm glad I'm so glad that happened. Now, the opening of the show and the tag match that followed it, I felt was not necessary. I felt wasn't necessary. I would understand if you had Shinsuke Nakamura go up against the wonderful Kevin Owens after he stole the highlight reel from Y2J. I would understand that fight. I would understand that match. But then you bring in Baron Corbin, who kind of got lost in the shuffle. And that pisses me off. Baron Corbin did a pretty good job. I'm still a Baron Corbin fan. I just don't like to see him being put into these situations. Particularly with Sami Zayn, who's still being sponsored as an underdog when he's bigger than freaking AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. Please, someone tell me why the WWE in their incredible wisdom makes a guy who's bigger than the really small guys a small guy in character. Why? Tell me the reason why. If the people like him so much, if they see that he has something, how come they have to use an underdog type of style character for him? I understand it with Finn Balor. I understand if they did with Shinsuke Nakamura, which they don't need to because his Japanese strong style technique and his character works perfectly fine for him. I like to see Shinsuke as he is. AJ Styles could be considered an underdog because he's smaller than a majority of the guys in the ring. When it comes to the Money in the Bank, he'll be smaller than almost everybody. He's smaller than Dolph. And Dolph is considered a small guy when it comes to all those other guys in the ring. I just don't get it. Shinsuke did win over Kevin Owens, and that just reiterates, if I'm pronouncing that word right, why he should have just had a match against Kevin Owens. This was about them, not about Baron Corbin, and definitely not about Sami Zayn. Really. Let me see. What else are we going to talk about here? Let me put it to you like this. When it came to the AJ Styles versus Dolph Ziggler match, it was the best match of the night. It was. It was the best match of the night with two guys who know how to work in the ring. But why in the whole green hell did you have Dolph Ziggler win over AJ Styles? Why? Couldn't you had a double DQ? These are considered two of the best wrestlers. I repeat again, wrestlers amongst all five that are going into the Money in the Bank ladder match. The best wrestlers. Couldn't you done a count out on them both? Couldn't you done a disqualification? Wouldn't it have been better to disqualify one to the other? Particularly that AJ is in his hometown of Atlanta, Georgia. It pisses me off. I'm sorry. It pisses me off that these guys had the job here. And I know you're going to say, wait a minute, Dolph Ziggler won. No. Dolph Ziggler lost as well. You got 3 weeks 3 weeks before Money in the Bank. Do you actually believe Dolph Ziggler is going to survive next week having a match with somebody else? They're going to job him out. So what was the damn point of this? I understand with Shinsuke and Kevin Owens. Shinsuke is brand new. Kevin Owens is established. Let him have a win over Kevin Owens, because I still believe Shinsuke should go after that U.S. title. I do. He should be going after that title. It would actually make sense with him. But then you do the Dolph and the Dolph. Why did they do it? It's stupid. Now, let's see if I'm forgetting anything, because the two things I really want to talk about, I'm going to talk about right now. Two very surprising things that gives us a new day in professional wrestling and a new day for Smackdown Live. Let's get the first one done. Usos come out. Still love the Usos. Day one-ish, baby! They're still getting very well over with the day one. I still love it. I still love how they're making themselves so over with that type of attitude. But then, I was shocked that New Day came out. They didn't really release when they were returning. So seeing that they're returning 3 weeks before Money in the Bank is actually a good thing. Let them start building up their cred again. They've been gone for at least a couple of months. Nearly a month or two almost. Nearly 2 months they've been gone. It's great to see them. It was great to see Kofi. It was great to see Big Lang. It was great to see New Day. And then, this, I don't know about anyone else, but the banter between the Usos and the New Day, it felt right. The New Day are the best talkers they have in the current company right now. They just are. Enzo and Big Cass are no match for the New Day. They're not. And there's never been anybody who can actually kind of go back and forth with the banter with them. No one could actually relate to them. No one can actually understand them. And then you got the Usos. The Usos have been the only one consistently in the last couple of months. They've been able to talk better than anyone. They out-talked American Alpha easily. They out-talked Fandango easily. They out-talked Talking Smack easily. So when you put these two together, you had a feeling of wonderful banter between each other. Admittedly, they had to get cut off because New Day just came in. They had to get over. They had to. So they got cut off on purpose. They cut that sucker off very quickly, and the New Day just made it very clear, and it is Xavier Woods said, "Oh, honey," in my face. "You know you're no match for us." And then Bigger Langston saying, well, we're here for a reason. We see ya. We see your belts. We like them. And we're going to take them. That felt good to see. Now, what we need next week and next 2 more weeks after that is for New Day to get over on the Usos. The Usos to get over on the New Day. It just means that they need to talk. Yes, there has to be a little bit of fighting. Just no match, please. WWE, no matches. You do a match, you ruin this. Let them just beat up on each other a little bit, but majority needs to be talking because both of them can talk very well. All of them are great talkers. You let them talk more than you let them wrestle, and it will be something we will love at Money in the Bank. Finally, the new day for Smackdown Live. The fatal 5-way elimination match for all the women. I did not want to see this. Particularly in the middle of the show. Near the middle, near the end. I think it was near the middle. Of the show. You stick this where it should have been at the end of the show, which I think would have been better. I did love the AJ and Dolph Ziggler match. It was the best match of the night. Honestly, it was. But let's be honest. The fatal 5-way elimination match should have been at the end of the show because this is supposed to be special. It's supposed to be a #1 contendership. They should have been allowed to end the show. But they didn't have that. They had to be near the middle or a little after the middle. And that didn't make me feel very comfortable. I didn't like it, particularly that Charlotte was the one who got more of a shine than Tamina, than Natalya, than Becky, or even Carmella to a certain extent. It was almost all about Charlotte. And you guys tell me below, what do you like about Charlotte? She can't talk very well. her ring work, if she's not with someone who is very familiar with her, it's very bad. And her character is really bad too. I'm just not feeling it with her. Unless she's with someone who's well developed, I just don't see anything good with her. But if you take away from that, seeing Shane McMahon come out and then say, I see your passion, I see you can't control yourself, so let's do something here. You're going to have a Money in the Bank match, but it's going to be a Money in the Bank women's ladder match. Yes! Yes! Finally! Finally, the women get exactly the same opportunity as men. They won't go there in Raw. Which they should have. Which they should. I hope they do this more often. Because in actuality, it makes perfect sense. And I truly, please, 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 the ones in WWE, do not be stupid enough to duplicate this on Raw. If you duplicate this for Raw, it will be the most stupidest, redundant thing you could ever do. It can only be done on SmackDown. This is something that should be only for Money in the Bank and shouldn't be for no other show. It should not be for the women of Raw. It only for the women of SmackDown. Leave Money in the Bank for Raw. No, sorry. You see how excited I am. Money in the Bank should not be for Raw. Since Money in the Bank is a SmackDown Live exclusive pay-per-view, let the Money in the Bank for the men be on SmackDown and the Money in the Bank for the women be on SmackDown. Only there will you see something entirely different that will excite the crowd. The people were shocked when they heard it. I was shocked to hear it. And I'm glad to see that there's a good possibility they will only do this for SmackDown. If they do, only from now on do this as an exclusive for SmackDown. No Money in the Bank for Raw. Not even on WrestleMania. It will be something special. And that is why this is a new day for pro wrestling and a new day for SmackDown. They decided to go in a direction that will make the crowd happy. I am happy to see this Money in the Bank women's ladder match. Because now it is something special. Next to seeing how they're going to build New Day compared to the Usos, I am very interested in seeing how they're going to build Tamina, how they're going to build Carmella, how they're going to build up Naomi particularly. They got to build up Charlotte, which she really needs it bad, and Becky Lynch. They got to do something to build these women up, not just doing wrestling matches. They got to build their character to make them interesting, relevant. As I've said in my Booking the Wrestler series, to get a title or to have relevance makes you a great wrestler. You can have them both. But if you can't have a title in it, you must build these people up to have relevance. So in 3 weeks' time, maybe we'll have relevance for all 5 women, including the champ, who they really need to do something special with, to make this something to care about. This is just my point of view. You guys tell me below, and I hope you enjoyed the Zane view. Please give me a comment below. I will be getting my Pro Wrestling Guide for Newbies done. I think it will be about the current roster of the WWE. It's going to take a couple of more days to get it done. It's not easy doing these videos, trying to figure out what the right people to put in it, what the right things to say, and then edit it all together. If you got an idea what I should do extra for the Pro Wrestling Guide for Newbies, leave a comment below. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace!